The desert wind was dry and hot. Dust flew across the empty land. The sky was dark, and the moonlight was weak. Far away, bright lights came from the human base. It was the only place with water for many miles. Near the base, a small figure moved. Slowly in the shadows, her skin was light purple. Her eyes glowed blue in the dark. She wore torn clothes and walked with weak steps. Her name was Zura, and she was not human. Zura was thirsty, very thirsty. She had not drunk water in 2 days. Her mouth was dry, her hands shaking. She knew the humans had water, but they did not like strangers, especially aliens like her. But she had no choice. If she didn't get water tonight, she would die. She moved closer to the human base. Tall fences and cameras watched everything. Zura waited in the dark, hiding behind rocks. A security drone passed by, floating in the security drone passed by, floating in the air. It had red lights and small guns. Zura stayed still. Her heart beat fast. When the drone was gone, she ran to a small gate in the back. The lock had a simple code. She had watched the humans use it before. She pressed the buttons. Beep, 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 click. The gate opened a little. Zura slipped inside. Now she was in the base. It was quiet. Most humans were sleeping. She stayed low and moved fast, hiding behind boxes and machines. She saw a silver tank. It was big and cold. A blue sign read, "Water storage for humans only." Zura looked around. No one was there. She reached out, opened the valve, and water began to flow. Cold, clean water. She drank fast. The water ran down her throat like magic. Her dry mouth became wet. Her body felt strong again. She wanted to cry, but she had to stay quiet. Then she heard a click. Red laser dot appeared on her arm. A security drone floated above her. It spoke in a cold, robotic voice. Unauthorized access detected. Alien life form. Use of force permitted. Zura's eyes went wide. She turned to run, but it was too late. Zap! The drone fired. The laser hit her arm. She screamed in pain. Blood poured from the burn. She fell to the ground, holding her arm, shaking. The drone charged up again. Second shot preparing. Target. Left arm. Zura closed her eyes. Stop! A loud voice shouted from behind. The drone stopped. The laser turned off. A tall human man ran forward. He wore a black uniform with silver stripes. His name was Commander Jack Reeve. He stood between the drone and the alien girl. "She's a child," he shouted. "Turn that weapon off." The drone beeped. Commander override detected. Ending threat response. The drone flew away. Jack looked down at Zura. She was breathing fast, blood on her arm, eyes full of fear. He knelt beside her. Hey, it's okay now. You're safe. I won't hurt you." Zura tried to back away, but she was too weak. Jack opened a small water bottle and gave it to her. "Drink. It's all right." Zura looked at him, confused. Slowly, she took the bottle and drank. Her hands were still shaking. Jack called his team on his radio. "Medical team to water storage, now." He looked at Zura again. "What's your name?" She didn't answer. "It's all right," Jack said. "I'm Jack. You don't have to be afraid." After a moment, she whispered, "Zura." Jack smiled. "Nice to meet you, Zura. You gave us quite a scare." Other soldiers arrived. One of them, a young woman named Sergeant Miller, frowned. "She was stealing water, sir. She was dying of thirst," Jack replied. "Wouldn't you do the same?" "She's an alien," another soldier said. "She's a child," Jack said again, louder this time. "And we're humans. We help, not harm." Zura looked up at him. Her eyes were wide, but not afraid now. They were full of hope. The medics took her to the clinic. Jack walked with them, but just before she went inside, Zura whispered something to Jack. "Thank you. But you shouldn't have helped me." Jack paused. Why? Zura looked at him with sad eyes. Because now, they will come for you too. Asterisk, the wind outside was quiet, but inside the base, everything felt tense. The air was heavy, like something bad was coming. Soldiers moved around with confused faces. Some looked angry. Others were just surprised. But one man stood calm. Commander Jack Reeve. Jack stood outside the medical room, arms crossed, thinking. The alien girl Zura was inside. She was resting, her arm wrapped in white cloth. The laser burn had gone deep, but she was lucky. A few more seconds, and her arm would have been gone. He kept hearing her words again and again in his mind. You shouldn't have helped me. They will come for you too. Who was they? And why would they come? Behind him, Sergeant Miller spoke. Sir, what are we doing? That thing stole from us. Jack didn't turn. She's not a thing. She's a kid, and she didn't attack us. She was dying. She broke into our base. She triggered the drone. Jack turned now slowly. His eyes were cold. If a child from our side crossed into an alien base just to drink water, what would we call that? A crime or survival? Miller didn't answer. Jack sighed. She's not dangerous. She's scared. Inside the room, Zura opened her eyes. The pain was still there, but it was softer now. She saw clean walls, soft lights, and strange machines. She was lying on a bed, not the cold sand. And next to her on a chair sat Jack. You're awake, he said softly. Zura tried to sit, but her arm hurt too much. Jack helped her slowly. He handed her a small cup of water. Don't worry, it's clean. Real human water. Zura took it. She drank slowly this time. Jack smiled. So, want to tell me who you're running from? Zura looked down. Her voice was low. They took my people, made them work in the mines. No food, no water, just pain. Jack's smile faded. Slavers? She nodded. They caught us after the crash. My ship broke. My family, her voice cracked. She stopped talking. Jack stayed quiet. He didn't ask more. He just waited. After a moment, Zura spoke again. I escaped, but they have trackers. If they smell me, they'll come. You said they'll come for me too. Why? Zura looked at him. Her eyes were full of something dark, fear, maybe even guilt. Because you helped me. Now they'll think you're on my side. Jack leaned back in his chair. I am on your side. Zura shook her head. No, you don't understand. They don't care who you are. Human, alien. If you stand in their way, they erase you. Suddenly, the lights blinked once. Then twice. Jack stood up quickly. What the hell? A voice came through the intercom. Commander, you need to see this. Now. Jack rushed out of the room. He entered the control room, where two soldiers were staring at the screen. In the sky, far above the desert, something was moving. Fast. Too fast to be natural. It wasn't a meteor. It was a ship. Big. And not human. Jack stared at it. One of the soldiers said. It just dropped out of stealth. Didn't see it coming until now. Jack's jaw tightened. Sound the alert. Lock the gates. Bring everyone inside. And deep inside the base, Zura whispered to herself. They're here. The sky outside turned darker. The lights on the enemy ship turned red. A voice came over the speakers. It wasn't human. It was deep, cold, and full of power. Return the stolen property, or all of you will burn. And just like that, the base was no longer safe. Zura was no longer just a stranger, and Jack was no longer just a soldier. He had made a choice. Now he had to face what was coming. Asterisk, the stars disappeared. Not because the sky had changed, but because something massive had blocked them. Every soldier at the base looked up in silence. Some dropped their weapons. Others just froze. No one had seen a ship like this before. It wasn't flying. It was hovering like a beast ready to strike. Zura stood at the window. Her hands shook. Her mouth was dry again, not from thirst, but fear. "That's them," she whispered. Inside the command center, red lights flashed. Screens showed the alien ship above, bigger than anything human made. It wasn't just here to talk. It was here to take. Commander Jack Reeves stared at the screen. "No response to our hails?" "Nothing," the communications officer said. "They're ignoring all signals." "Maybe because they're not here to talk," Jack said. He looked at Zura's file again. No name, no ID, just unregistered alien child. Unknown origin, unknown threat. The voice came again, louder this time. It didn't come from a speaker. It came from inside their heads. "Return the girl. Last warning." Jack felt a sharp pain behind his eyes. Telepathic communication. Strong. That meant whoever was up there wasn't just smart. They were powerful. He left the room and found Zura sitting alone. She didn't cry. She didn't run. She just sat still, like she had already lost everything before. Jack crouched beside her. "Zura, I need to know who they are." "Really?" She didn't look at him. "They call themselves the Drovak. They don't care about life. They care about control. And why do they want you so badly?" Zura closed her eyes. "Because I escaped. And because I know something they don't want anyone else to know." Jack's jaw tightened. "Then we definitely can't give you back." Zura looked at him, almost angry. "You don't understand. They'll burn this base to the ground. Kill everyone just to get me." Jack stood up. "Then we'll make it hard for them." Outside, the ship began to move slow, silent, like a shadow. Energy built underneath it. The sand below turned to glass. One warning shot hit the edge of the base. A wall exploded into flames. Jack shouted orders. "Shields up. Evacuate non-combatants. Full lockdown." The base was now a war zone. Zura watched from a corner. Her eyes glowed faintly. Something inside her was stirring, like a memory waking up. Not pain, not fear. Something older. One of the soldiers ran up to Jack. "Sir, we can't win this. That ship is stronger, faster, smarter. We need to give her up." Jack didn't even turn. "We don't trade lives to save our own." "But sir, she's under my protection now," Jack said coldly. "They want her? They'll have to come through me." Suddenly, all the lights shut off. Silence. Then boom. The sky cracked open. Enemy dropships launched from the main vessel. Sleek, dark, fast. They were coming. Jack pulled Zura close. "Do you trust me?" Zura looked at him. "You're the first one who ever asked." Then came the sound of boots. Soldiers. Human ones. Running, preparing. The base turned into a hive of movement. Guns powered up, doors sealed. Drones flew into position, but no one truly knew what was coming. The Drovak weren't here just to take a girl. They were here to take a secret, a living secret. And Zura. Zura was starting to remember what she really was. The ground shook like thunder. Zura covered her ears. Alarms screamed through the base. Lights blinked red. Soldiers shouted orders, but their voices were drowned out by something louder. Fear. Outside the gates, sand flew high into the air. The enemy dropships landed hard, one after another, like black knives stabbing into the earth. The Drovak had arrived, inside the war room. Jack slammed his fist on the table. "They're pushing in from the west wall. We hold that line." A young soldier looked at him. "Sir, we're outnumbered 5-1. Jack grabbed his rifle. "Then shoot 5 times. Another explosion shook the walls. Dust rained from the ceiling. Zura sat near the medbay, clutching her wounded arm. No one looked at her. No one had time, yet she could feel it, all of it. The fear, the rage, the pressure. And something else. A strange heat. Inside her chest, out like a tiny sun. waiting to wake up. Jack returned to her side. His uniform was dirty, torn at the sleeve. "We have minutes before they breach. I need you safe." Zura looked up. "You can't fight them. Not all of them." "Doesn't mean we won't try," Jack said. "But there's something you're not telling me. You said they want you." "Why?" Zura looked down at her hand. The skin near the burn was glowing. Soft blue light pulsed under it. She touched it and felt warmth. "Not pain. I wasn't supposed to survive," she whispered. "They were testing something, a weapon, but I wasn't a weapon." "I was the container," Jack frowned. "Container for what?" Zura looked at him, scared. "For energy. Pure energy. Ancient. Wild. It's not supposed to live in anyone, but it lives in me." Jack stepped back. "You're saying you can fight them?" "I don't know," she said. "If I try, I might stop them. But I might also destroy everything." Jack stared at her. Then came the breach. The west gate exploded inward. Steel flew like paper. The first wave of Drovak soldiers marched in. Tall, armored, cold, they carried weapons that hummed with deadly light. The humans fired. The base became a storm of noise and fire. Jack turned to Zura. "Whatever you're holding inside, if you can stop them, now is the time." Zura stood. Her legs shook, but she didn't fall. She stepped into the hallway. Soldiers passed her, some bleeding, some limping. None of them noticed her glowing arm. She walked toward the blast site. Drovak spotted her. They stopped shooting. Their leader, a massive alien with metal across his face, stepped forward. His voice was cold and echoing. "You are not ready, child." Zura didn't answer. Her eyes began to glow bright blue. The leader raised his hand. "Stand down. Return with us." "You do not understand the force inside you." Jack appeared behind her, rifle in hand. "She's not going anywhere." The alien aimed his weapon. Zura raised her glowing hand. Light burst from her palm. Not fire, not electricity. Something older. Raw. The enemy ship above shook in the sky. The Drovak soldiers froze, weapons shorting out. Zura stepped forward, eyes glowing like stars. "I'm done running," she said. And the base filled with a blinding blue light. Silence. Not peace. Not calm. Just silence. Everything had stopped moving. Smoke floated in the air. Sand was frozen mid-blast. The Drovak soldiers stood like statues, eyes wide. Weapons melted in their hands. Zura stood at the center of it all. Her small frame shook. Blue light still glowed around her, wrapping her like a living force. The heat was gone. There was no pain now, only power. And the fear of it. Jack watched from behind, eyes full of disbelief. "Zura," he whispered, but didn't finish the sentence. She turned around slowly. Her eyes were no longer just glowing. They were shining like twin stars. Her voice was not loud, but it filled the air. "I didn't know it would feel like this." "What did you do?" Jack asked. "I stopped holding it in," she said. "It's been sleeping inside me since the lab." "Since they put it there." Jack stepped closer. "What is it?" Zura touched her chest. "A weapon? A signal? A seed?" "I don't know, but it's not human, and it's not Drovak." She looked at her hands, glowing like glass. "It wants to grow. It wants to wake up fully, but I don't know what happens if it does." Behind them, one of the downed Drovak soldiers moved. He crawled away, leaving his weapon, not in anger, not in hate, but in fear. Jack stared at him, then at Zura. "They're afraid of you." Zura didn't smile. "No, they're afraid of what I might become." Siren started again. The base came back to life. Power returned. Lights flickered on. The air was moving once more. Zura fell to her knees. Jack ran forward and caught her before she hit the ground. She was cold now, shaking. "It's too much," she said weakly. "It takes everything. I can't hold it for long." Jack lifted her gently. "We'll get you help, real help." "There is no help for this," she whispered. But Jack wasn't listening. He called for medics. He carried her back inside. The Drovak ship in the sky hovered for a moment, then turned slowly, pulling back. They didn't attack again. They had seen what Zura could do. And they weren't ready. In the command room, scientists reviewed the security footage. One paused the screen on a close-up of Zura's glowing arm. A strange mark had appeared on her skin, a symbol. Not written by human hands. The scientist's face went pale. This matches the ruins on Proxima 9, another one spoke. That language is over 50,000 years old. No species alive today knows how to read it. Jack entered the room. What does it mean? The scientist looked at him. It means she's not just a kid with powers. She's carrying something lost to time, something ancient, something that was never meant to be reborn. Jack looked out the window where Zura rested in the medbay. I don't care what she's carrying, he said. She's still just a girl. The scientist nodded. Maybe, but she might be the key to something much bigger than this war. That night, Jack sat beside Zura. She was sleeping now, but her skin still gave off a soft light. He noticed her hand twitch like she was dreaming. He leaned closer and whispered, "You're not alone anymore. Whatever's inside you, we'll face it together." Outside the base, far beyond the mountains, hidden eyes watched the sky. And somewhere, deep in the black between stars, something else had woken up. The stars were quiet. For the first time in days, the sky above the desert was clear. No ships, no weapons, no sounds. Just stillness. But Jack didn't trust it. He stood alone on the rooftop of the command tower, watching the dark horizon. His rifle was strapped to his back. His hands were clenched. Down below, soldiers checked weapons, repaired broken walls, placed mines. No one spoke much. They all knew what was coming. The Drovak hadn't left. They were waiting, watching, maybe charging. Something bigger. Maybe calling for more. And deep inside the base, Zura slept, but her sleep was not peaceful. Her skin still glowed in waves. Her heart beat faster than normal. The symbol on her arm had changed again. More lines, more light. It was spreading, like a message being written across her body. Jack entered her room quietly. He looked at her. So small, so still. And yet the most powerful being in the system. He touched her hand gently. "We're running out of time," he said softly. "You don't have to fix this alone." Zura's eyes opened, but they weren't just blue now. They had gold in them. Like fire trapped in ice. "They're coming back," she said. Her voice was calm. This time, with everything. A sharp alarm rang, then another. Red lights spun above every door. Jack ran out to the control center. "Report!" The radar officer pointed at the screen. 10 ships. Drovak destroyers. Full formation. They'll be overhead in 6 minutes. "Is the shield working?" "Barely." "One good hit and it's gone." Jack grabbed his cum. "All units, final stand protocol. If you can fight, suit up. If you can't get underground, this is it." Explosions lit the sky as the first ships came into view. Dark, silent, terrifying. They opened fire. The shield caught the first wave, but cracked. The second wave hit. The ground shook. The outer wall fell. Jack and his squad returned fire. Missiles flew. Drones launched. Chaos exploded around them. In the middle of it all, Zura walked outside. Dust swirled around her feet. Her eyes were blazing now. Her skin was covered in symbols glowing, shifting. Jack saw her and shouted, "Zura, no! You're not strong enough." "I don't have a choice," she said. She raised her hands. A pulse of energy flew from her body. It didn't explode, it pushed. Everything near her, sand, debris, fire, was blown outward like wind. The Drovak noticed. Their lead ship turned, aimed its main cannon at her, and fired. Too fast. Too powerful. Jack screamed, "Zura!" The beam hit, smoke, light, heat. Then dash nothing. Silence again when the smoke cleared. Zura was still standing. The beam had hit a shield, one made of light, not tech. She had made it. But she was on her knees. Now bleeding like from her hands, she whispered, "I can hold it." "Just a little longer." Jack ran to her. "You've done enough." Zura looked up at him. Her face was wet with tears. "No, one more time. I can end this for good." The sky lit up again, but this time it was her. Her whole body turned white blue, glowing like a sun. The ground cracked beneath her feet. The wind roared like a scream, and the Drovak ships paused. Then panicked. They turned to flee, but it was too late. Zura rose into the air, light pouring from her chest. And then everything went white. No one saw the explosion. They only saw the light. It rose like a second sun and filled the sky with silence. For one breathless moment, the war stopped. Even the stars seemed to blink. Then dash nothing. No sound, no movement. Just empty air where the Drovak ships had been, and where Zura had stood. Jack opened his eyes slowly. He was lying on his back, dust in his mouth, blood on his face. He sat up with a groan and looked around. The base was half ruined, towers broken, walls scorched. But it was still standing. People began crawling out of bunkers. Medics rushed to the injured. No Drovak in sight, but Zura. Jack stood quickly. "Zura?" No answer. He ran toward the last place he saw her. Smoke still hung in the air. The ground was cracked and glowing faintly blue. In the center of it all, lying still, was her. He dropped to his knees beside her. "Zura, please." She didn't move. Jack gently lifted her into his arms. Her skin was cold. Her eyes were closed. No light, no symbols. Just a girl. But then he felt it, a slow, tiny heartbeat. Her fingers twitched, and her lips moved. A whisper. "Did it work?" Jack smiled, tears running down his dirty face. "Yeah, you did it. They're gone." Zura opened her eyes. No glow, just the soft blue of a tired child. "I thought I'd disappear." "You didn't," Jack said. "You stayed." She blinked slowly. "Good." "I didn't want to leave alone." Jack held her close. "You'll never be alone again." Days passed. Help arrived. Human ships from orbit touched down. Engineers, medics, diplomats. They looked at the broken base, at the stunned survivors, and at the quiet girl sleeping in the med bay. Everyone asked questions. Who is she? What happened? What power did she use? Jack answered them all with the same words. She's a girl who came for water and ended a war. Zura stayed in the human city afterward. The energy inside her had faded, but not gone. Scientists said she was safe now, stable, but no one fully understood what lived inside her. Some called her a weapon, some called her a miracle. Jack just called her family. One day, she stood beside him on a quiet hill, watching the sky. "There are more out there," she said. "More like the Drovak." "More like me," Jack nodded. "Then we'll be ready." Zura smiled. A real, warm smile. "Next time, I won't be alone." And above them, the stars watched silently, brighter than ever.